Welcome to Attainable Green. I'm Jess, and today we're going to be talking about an orchid haul from New World Orchid. These are imports, so they come bare root with a little bit of sphagnum moss around the base of its roots, and then I'm going to have to pot them up on my own. So I'm going to share with you what I got and how I'm going to be taking care of these plants. This is the Cymbidium goeringii variety Tian Cao. So the name of this plant is written in a Chinese romanization, and since I'm Cantonese, I pronounce it in Cantonese. The name of this variety means heavenly grass or celestial grass. This one has 3 new bulbs and 2 new growths, and they're already leafing out. This one is a variegated variety, so you can see how the margins of the leaves have a different coloring. It has a little bit of that yellow coloration, and the rest of the leaf is green. The roots look pretty nice and firm, and for this species, it's primarily known to have roots that like to grow straight and down. So having a pot that is deeper than it is wider is better in this regard. This one is probably the most popular of the Cymbidium species that I'm going to be talking about, and it's primarily a temperate species. So this plant will do better in colder conditions during the winter season. The next plant is the Cymbidium ensifolium. Now this plant is slightly bigger than the goeringii, and it has completely green leaves. It currently has 3 bulbs and 1 new growth, and so far it's looking quite healthy as well. English translation of this variety is called the color of 2 beauties, and that primarily refers to the flower. So the flower of this plant is actually 2 colors, and that's a little bit unusual for this type. So I'm really looking forward to seeing these ones in bloom. All of these are considered 3 bulb divisions, so it will take 2 to 3 years before they get established and actually bloom. This is primarily because the new growths of these plants take about 2 years to fully mature, so it's going to take a while to get these plants into a flowering stage, but I think it's worth it to try it out. The next 2 plants are the same species, and that is the Cymbidium sinense. This species is a lot larger than the other 2 that I had previously mentioned, but they still have the same kind of look and aesthetic as the other 2. So this one is the Cymbidium sinense Tai Ping Yang, and that means Pacific Ocean. So I picked this one because I live on the west coast of the United States, and we are bordering on the Pacific Ocean. So I thought it was kind of cool as a reference, and also the other side of the Pacific Ocean would be Asia. So this one kind of has more of a personal tie as to why I picked this particular plant. This orchid has 3 bulbs and 1 new growth. On the leaves, there is some variegation along the tips and leaf margins, and also throughout the leaf veining itself. Some of the newer growth is showing more of the variegation than the older growth, and that's totally fine. Not all variegations are stable, so I'm still trying to figure out which one is stable or not. And this is my first time dipping into this type of Cymbidium, so it'll be interesting to see how it performs this growing season. Since this plant is a lot larger than the other 2, it's in kind of like this traditional Cymbidium pot. Now, this pot is a lot taller than it is wider, and it has kind of an air cone underneath the bottom to allow for more airflow. This is considered the small size of the Cymbidium pots that I've seen, and they can get progressively larger. This type of pot can be liable to tip over because it has a little bit more weight at the top than it does at the bottom. But if you put it in a nice stable and flat location, I don't think you have too much cause for concern. I've seen people put in like 2 rows of poles and suspend these pots from the lip so that you don't have to worry about it falling over. And the last plant is the Cymbidium sinense Yangming, and this one is reference to the Yangming mountain in Taiwan. Supposedly this is where this variety originated from, but I don't have full confirmation of that, and so what I have heard is kind of a secondhand explanation. This plant mostly has green leaves, but it does have a little bit of variegation on the leaf veining itself. It's just very subtle. I'm hoping that as it matures, more of that striping will show through. This plant seems more vigorous compared to the rest of the plants. So currently this plant has 3 bulbs, and it looks like there's at least 3 to 5 new growths. I'm not sure how those will pan out, But so far that is very welcoming, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this one grows. Once again, this one has larger, strappier, wider leaves than the ensifolium and the goeringii, and I'm really appreciating how it looks in this type of traditional pot. So I'm looking forward to growing these plants in my environment, and currently they're going to be placed outside in my side yard in a slightly shaded area to get them to adapt to my environment before slowly moving out to a brighter location. So these plants are primarily grown in Asia. China, Japan, and Korea are known to have the most vibrant history of cultivating these plants. Most of the time, they're valued not just for their flowers, but for the entire display of the plant itself, from the leaves to the stem to the color of the flowers, and any kind of possible mutations or variegations can add to the desirability of a certain plant. In the United States, these plants aren't as popular, but I know that there are at least 2 growers that can grow these plants in Southern California. So that has given me the confidence to try these plants out. Supposedly the care for all these species is very similar. The only difference is during the winter time, these ones have different temperature ranges to help with the vernalization. So usually for these plants, the blooms are initiated during the summer growing season after the pseudobulb is fully mature. It takes 2 years for the new growth to mature, and then in that second summer it's supposed to start creating buds. And then in the cooler temperature season, that's kind of helping it to initiate or to fully develop those spikes so that it can bloom later in the season. Also, depending on the species, it can bloom in the wintertime, in the early spring, or towards the summer and fall season. So I'm hoping with these 3, once they are fully mature, they will have staggered blooms so that they will all be in bloom year round. Also, there's not a lot of information in English about these plants. Some have described just general basic care of them, but I think the really thorough in-depth analysis of each of these species is only found in books that are written in Chinese, Japanese, or Korean. I don't have access to that, but I have listened to a seminar by Michael Shuang about the Cymbidiums, and I'm trying to use the information he tells in relation to how he grows it in Canada and apply that to my environment here in Southern California. One thing to note is that all these plants are potted up in an inorganic media. It was recommended to use a mix of kanuma, akadama, pumice, and perlite. So I'm kind of using that. I'm using a blend of that of what I have from some of my terrestrial mixes, and hopefully that will be a good media environment for these plants. Also, because it's in inorganic media, I don't have to repot them for about 2 to 3 years, and so that's probably just in time for me to see the flowers and bloom before I have to change out the pot. However, that is dependent upon how the pot and the media react. If I notice that the pot is getting waterlogged and it's not draining properly, then it definitely needs to be repotted. So far, I'm hoping that this will be a nice well-draining mix that is slightly acidic, between a pH of 5.5 to 6.5. That will be beneficial to these plants. One thing to note is that when I'm potting up these plants, instead of putting the media right below the pseudobulbs, I'm actually burying the pseudobulbs about 50%. So it's about half buried into the media so that it retains a little bit more moisture. I don't have to bury the bulbs completely, but just enough to just help it out. So I'm hoping that that's the right way to pot up these plants. I have a few concerns about growing these plants because even though they are typically found in more temperate or subtropical conditions, their climate where they're from originally is not exactly the same as Southern California. So my main concerns is that during the summer season, it gets really hot and really humid in Asia. Here where I am, it's actually very hot, but it's actually quite dry. So I'm hoping that I can maintain high enough humidity to keep these plants happy during the growing season. As for the winter season, as the temperatures slow down and dip, these plants are known to handle that pretty well. In fact, I think the goeringii can handle temperatures almost close to freezing. So I'm just hoping that the winter temperatures will be good enough for all of these plants. Supposedly, there's a couple of degree difference in the actual ranges that are best for these plants, and I can't really give them like distinct temperature ranges during the winter. So I'm hoping that they will be fine with what I can provide naturally in my environment. So that is a quick overview of my orchid haul from New World Orchids. I'm just starting to get into these Asian Cymbidiums, and I'm hoping that they will create a nice display so that even though I don't have very many of them, they will still look quite beautiful. Obviously, it'll be a couple of years before I will see flowers, but I'm hoping that I'm able to provide enough growth for them during this season so that I can give a little bit more information about how these grow. I'm still learning as this is my first time, so hopefully if you have any advice and you grow these plants, please let me know in the comments below, and just let me know how they've been for you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel Attainable Green to follow along on my orchid growing journey. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!